Today we're speaking to Mark. He operates pubs, bars and nightclubs. In fact, he's got 5 of them, helping himself to £500,000 a month in revenue in what I think is the most devilishly difficult sector to be in business. So it's going to be a fascinating conversation. Welcome back to the Business Broadcast. I'm James Sinclair. You can watch me on Instagram on my daily habits at James Sinclair Entrepreneur. And if you want to follow James Burt on podcasting and greatness in the audio world.
Your daily habits, nothing happens on you. The best way to find out what you're doing every day is to follow your missus.
That is also true.
That is also true.
Yeah,
do you like social media?
No.
JB, answer the question. Where can people go?
Where can people go to follow you?
James Burt Official.
James Burt Official, that's where you need to go.
Just go there.
Do I like social media? No, I'm not obviously we promote on social media.
We do.
And I love it as a promotional tool, but I'm not an avid poster unless it's work related. Very rarely do you see any in my personal life.
I think we...
what about you?
I like following your other half's Instagram because I find out like you popping down to Devon. I was like, oh, that's nice. Seemed like
I wouldn't put anything like that on.
Golf buggy. I saw there was a golf buggy in the front garden.
So I think that's really showy. I wouldn't put that stuff on.
I just really enjoyed it. I thought when he said
I don't want people to know that I'm obviously saying that on a podcast now, but it's a business owner audience that don't care about things like that as much as
other people.
No,
what have you got a golf buggy in your front garden?
Because we like driving around it with the kids. Harvey likes driving it.
What? Hang on a second. What's that? Bit of hair there.
Yeah, we like driving around it and bombing around. We go around the front garden and then the back garden. But it's quite big and we have really good fun. We've got woods as well. That just sounds...
Wow.
So we take the golf buggy around our woods and gardens and we got like a big pond thing that we go around. I love it.
Great.
And Harv's got really good at driving it.
Oh, yeah. But imagine 7 or 8, what is he? He's 8, isn't he? 8 years old. Dad go, I've got a golf buggy for us to drive around. Like, that's the dream at 8.
Yeah,
that is the dream.
I surprised them. I said, I've got something at the front door for you. And they went, what is it? And they saw it. And I went, it's a golf buggy. And they went, what are we doing? And then they quickly got it once they went on the journey with it.
It's great fun. Even as an adult, golf buggies are fun.
Fantastic.
Fantastic
things. I mean,
my first ever job was driving a golf buggy. I thought I'd won all of life's lotteries. I was earning £5 an hour. I used to collect the balls as the sun was setting at Buckinghamshire Golf Club. You know, the idiot where everyone tries to hit him on the driver range. That was me in the buggy. And I was like, this is it. I used to listen to my speed garage tapes. Smoke a Benson Hedges fag when I was about 13.
They can go quite fast as well.
You go 20 miles an hour, that thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah, no seatbelts.
No seatbelts at all.
And mine's got a lithium-ion battery, so it just goes on and on and on.
Oh, does it?
And on and on. How much is a new golf buggy? Interesting fact to quote of the week. You will not believe it.
13 grand.
I can't believe you got that right. That's exactly what they are.
Is it really?
Well, I think that's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money. You didn't pay 13 grand for it, did you? You love a bargain.
I bought mine second hand. How much do you think a new Ford Fiesta is? Do they still make Ford Fiestas?
Ford Fiestas, yeah. They're pretty 22 grand.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
What do you mean? More than that?
Less than that.
I bet a basic Ford. I don't think they do a Fiesta anymore. I'm sure they still do a KA. The car. That's an ugly car as well, isn't it? Oh, you're talking of ugly cars. I've had to buy an ugly car for work. Oh, horrible it is.
Ford Fiesta is no longer being produced.
Oh. Bottom of the range, I bet it's. I'll tell you what's doing really well though. A lot of these Chinese cars like BYD, Build Your Dream. You've seen them? Got the spec on them for the money. It's crazy.
So what's the replacement for what's Peugeot 206?
They don't do small cars anymore though, do they really? Everything's like Focus sized.
Does a 206 not exist either?
No, I think it's a 2006, isn't it? I think, or a 208.
No, this can't be right. So a 208 is 27 grand new.
Yeah, this is crazy. That's like a basic spec. There you go, from 18 grand. But that would be like basic.
I can't believe that.
Back in the day when we were getting our first car, what did you pay for your first car?
£1,000, something like that.
I paid-
950 quid.
I paid
It was a van, though. It wasn't a car.
£350. How much did it cost to insure it? More than the car's
more
worth.
than the car. Yeah, it was about £2,500.
Yeah, that's exactly what I had. A £350 1.3 Vauxhall Nova SR. I love that car with the souped up exhaust and all that kind of good stuff. And it was 1,500 quid to insure it, 5 times the cost of the car.
I just can't believe how much money these things are.
It's mad, isn't it?
We got a quote for new vans for Cafe Deli.
Oh, but what, the box ones with the fridgy bit in the back?
And a freezer and a fridge at the back.
What are they, Mercs, aren't they?
Mercs.
What do they go for? 70 grand a van?
You're winning the day, aren't you?
Yeah.
It's 73 grand.
Is it really per van?
Yeah, and we're going to buy 5.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm really happy about it.
Delighted. £250,000 worth of vans. What'd you do? Asset finance
It's
that?
more like 300 grand, isn't it? 73 times 5 is 300.
Oh, yeah, 350. Yeah, you're right. Sorry, I've just
You're
square
run
100
quick.
grand. Yeah, my running's over.
Yeah.
What do you do with that sort of stuff? Do you asset finance it?
Yeah. We have a revolving facility with Lombard that will just keeps going on and on and on.
Add on.
I mean, the fact of the matter is 20 grand ain't 20 grand anymore, is it?
No, it's not. When you look at that though, like jokes aside, for a really basic car, like back in the day, you could, like, I remember my mum getting a Ford Fiesta brand new off the show court. I remember it because on the test drive, I had a little accident and she never let me live it down. She's fuming. I think she basically felt like she had to buy the car because I'd had an accident in it. And I'm sure it was, I think it was $7.5 grand, which was like, I thought she was like, wow, a brand new, it was a G-Reg. A G-Reg Fiesta, $7.5 grand. Wow, I was like, my mum's got a new car. Whoa. And now, like I say, the basic car is 20,000 quid. And okay, that was 30 years ago, but as people's spending power and wages gone up at that same speed in 30 years, I don't think they have.
That's a lot of money, that, yeah.
That's a lot of dough. Anyway, we're talking today about not cars, nothing to do with cars. We're talking about bars.
Hospitality and leisure, baby.
Bars, not cars. We're talking to Mark from the world famous Dive Bar Limited. You can find more about them at worldfamousdivebars.com. Dive bar's like a big thing in the States, isn't it?
I've never heard of it. What is
A
it?
dive bar is like a sort of like a
Swimming pool and you just dive into it.
no, it's like sort of like low level, sort of scuzzy kind of
Oh,
bar.
like it's dive, it's rubbish dive.
Yeah, but
Right.
like dive bar is a thing. Like you would want to go to a dive bar because it's like it's cool, it's edgy. I used to make monthly revenue. I tell you what, this ain't edgy though, is it? 250 grand a month he's doing. Been going since 2007.
I've got 450 on mine.
450, you are right. I've knocked 200 grand off him. I've knocked 100 grand off you. I'm doing a terrible thing for people. 450 grand a month he is.
Who are you, Rachel Reeves?
Six
You don't know
million-
nothing about
Yeah.
numbers.
After my tax, he'll only have 250 left and the rest.
Yeah.
He's just under 6 million quid a year in turnover he's doing. Been going since 2007 in this business. He's got 103 staff. But he's got some challenges and they're very, very long. But I'm going to read them because I think it's
Why
important.
don't you read them out when we ask each one?
Okay, fine.
Yeah,
we'll do that. He's been trying to, as a summary though, he's trying to grow the business through vertical integration by acquiring craft businesses, but the deal falls through during the due diligence.
I
bit.
read
So
that
he
in
needs-
his little notes here.
He needs a bit of support with that. Second biggest challenge is the chronic skills shortage in the hospitality sector. Again, we'll dive into that in more detail. And the third biggest challenge is how tough it is to raise money in hospitality.
Oh, yeah, very tough because of huge failure rates.
Yes.
Very, very tough.
Yeah.
Hospitality is so tough. Yeah, I mean, what would make it easier in this country is lower VAT for hospitality. I think the failure rates would drop dramatically and then it'd be easier to fund them. Do you think, I spoke about AI on the last episode. Do you think we're going to have robots in pubs and in hospitality? Yes, in the next 20 years. I don't think that's...
Yeah.
But when do you think
Thanks, mate.
this, robots doing stuff like that will become very commonplace?
Oh, I reckon in the next 10 years.
Yeah, I think you're right. In China, robots are everywhere.
Yeah.
Delivering food to rooms
Yeah.
and to tables. Like no one even notices it. It's so regular.
Yeah.
Only the people that notice are white Westerners. Go,
I know.
They don't even notice it.
They had one in the little, there's a lovely, where I used to have an office, there's an amazing Turkish restaurant and they had like a little robot thing. and it would carry the 5 trays of like the big like Turkish meze foods, and this thing would come and deliver your food. And it was really, really effective. But like I say, everyone's like, oh my God, this is so unique and ordinary. But that will become so commonplace very quickly.
It's like the people slagging off AI. You can't help but start using it.
You got to.
You're just using it, you know.
Got
you just
to. Every day.
I'm going to show you. I'll put up on the screen. My
wife uses ChatGPT like Google now.
Yeah.
So instead of Google, ChatGPT is her search engine of choice now by default.
Yeah, you're definitely using ChatGPT to fact check yourself, aren't you?
Yeah.
Like, oh, what's that?
Yeah.
So we have products that we market. You know, we're a teddy bears, for example. So we would get 4 or 5 of us, go to a photo studio, put wires inside the teddy bear to get them to stand the way we want them to stand for the photo to sell the product. Then go on Photoshop, doctor the image, try and make it look good, get the lighting correct. All of that stopped for us now.
Yeah.
Within seconds, we're uploading the picture onto ChatGPT saying, can you make this teddy bear wave? Can you make sure that all the wrinkles are out? Can you put a background? And this is what we achieved within seconds.
No way.
No way. So this is,
wow.
I'm going to show you what we do ourselves. So that's us doing. I'll put these on screen over.
Yeah.
Chud's in Stevie in the edit. Make sure that that's there. That is not as good, is it?
No.
It is unbelievable.
In seconds as well.
Yeah. And that, it's blowing my mind.
That's where places like hospitality have it even more difficult because these are people-centric businesses, aren't they?
Yeah, but AI's coming in. You know, I tell you where little AI is. You go to a McDonald's or a Black Sheep coffee shop and you're ordering on screens now. You're not going to the counter.
Yeah.
It's doing the upselling for you. It's learning and doing. So it is creeping into every part of our lives. But it's when you've got a robot-looking human.
Yes.
Taking orders and serving you.
Yeah.
Is that going to happen?
Oh, I think so in the next 10 years, yeah.
I think it's going to be quicker than 10 years.
How long do you think?
I think if you're a taxi driver or a delivery driver, that's your job. I would be seriously considering upskilling yourself into something else. Seeing American cities doing driverless taxis.
It's prevalent over there, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that is launching into more cities.
Yeah.
People are using it. People are doing it. I think that's going to become commonplace in America very, very soon. It's very common in Dubai as well.
Yeah.
Things are. Chuds, how long do you think, if you as a betting man, how long do you think you start seeing robots serving us in Sainsbury's, in Costa Coffee, something like that?
I don't know if a robot would, because self-serve is fine, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, like making the coffees, doing the bit the human does.
Yeah, pretty soon.
Here's your espresso, Mr. Chudley.
I think
looking especially handsome today.
Here's what I think will happen there. If that's
how I imagine it will talk.
If that happens, I'm not going to that coffee shop.
Neither am I, to be fair. Neither am I.
Exactly. I think just like I would avoid a Starbucks or a Costa, I would also avoid a shop in London that had robots serving you. It might be a good novelty once, but then after that, I'm like, no thanks. But I actually think more people will do that than we realise. Once like efficiencies and like robotics are normal, people will be like, oh, it's a real place over there. I'm going to go to that one. But I don't know, 5-10 years, I don't think it really matters because people.
Do you think it's going to be like Star Wars, where humans and robots mix together?
I think, well, yeah, definitely. Gary V put
I don't think it's as
Gary V
dramatic
put out
as
a
what you
video
think
and he
it'll
said
be.
that there will be grandchildren of this generation that marry AI. They'll be like,
just not buying it at all. Human beings are human beings.
Tell you what,
we're not going to fall for that. I don't
if
think.
I could put my wife's face on a robot, have all the other good bits of a wife, but just program it to never argue with me, I'm down for it.
Or just be on your own. No
I actually think that's more likely.
No
yeah.
humans.
Oh, that's living. That's living, isn't it? And we sad old men. Anyway, in 1 year's time, we asked Mark, getting back to Mark here, we asked him where do you want to be in 1 year's time. He said in 1 year's time, we want to be proudly pouring our own beers straight from our fully up and running brewery with a steady B2B partnerships.
Can I just to stop you? I've got to stop you there. The reason I mention that is really because of this business.
Yes.
Chance, the reason I mention it is because this guy, like lots of people in hospitality industry, can't get staff. People don't want to do this stuff. They don't want to work weekends. They want
Chronic skill
This
shortage.
is why.
Yeah.
But this is a problem right now, isn't it? So I think once the dynamic changes and robots are normal and then this staffing issue becomes a different type of issue, like in 20 years, it'll be something else. The conversation will be something else, won't it?
Yeah, you should be coding your staff and software upgrades for your staff.
But there's other...
We're becoming lazy.
Yeah. But then there's places that thrive with people, aren't they? There's pubs that thrive, there's coffee shops that thrive, there's pubs that struggle, there's coffee shops that struggle. So
yes, that is true. But people just don't, there less and less people want to work in this space for this sort of money and the unsociable hours.
Yeah.
Because when you want to be sociable, they want you to work.
Yeah. But that's always going to be the case, though, isn't it? People are going to do these sorts of jobs at a certain age or at a certain point in your career, and then you. But also, these are seminal. The sad thing about that, and I think you're right, but these are seminal for like learning life skills, aren't they?
I mean,
like taking money off somebody and doing sales and walking up to a table as a waiter, and go, "Hey, how are you today?
Do you
Can
know
I take
what?
your order?"
If you want to get your kids to be successful, make them a waiter for 6 months.
100%.
You know, just
work facing the public in retail or hospitality.
What a skill.
You would take it with you for life.
Absolutely.
And you don't even realise that you're learning stuff.
No.
You don't even realise that you're learning stuff. I remember I was at a
You're
hotel.
dealing with awkward people.
Oh, yeah.
Nice people, people in between, people that got the people that are couples, people that don't think you're anything. People
I was a
that think
hotel
you're everything.
porter when I was 16.
Yeah,
and I realised with a bit of, I know, imagine. It's a good advert, isn't it, for Bell House Forte or whatever they were called back in the day. But I realised that the more personable you are with people, so I used to like drop their bags off. I was like, the nicer you are to people, the bigger your tips.
Yeah.
Hey, where have you guys travelled in from? But then I was like, I just did it by default. And always they'd be like, oh, they're miserable people up in room 60. I was like, they're really nice when I dropped them off yesterday. Give me a tenner for dropping their bags in. Because you just make more of an effort. You learn how to deal with people.
Well, you learn how to kill people with kindness.
Yeah.
Which is a great skill set to have.
Kill people with kindness. I like that. So in 1 year's time, he wants to be up and running and pouring pints from his own up and running brewery with steady B2B partnerships supplying local pubs and restaurants. What does the business look like when it's finished? He said, I've got no plans to hang up my boots at any time soon, but I like to keep one eye on the exit lane down the road. I can carve off individual venues or business units from the group and sell them whenever it makes sense, whenever I need to raise fresh capital for a big push or I want to pivot the whole operation in a new direction. Do you make the profit that you want to make? And if so, what is it? He says, at the moment, our profit margins hover around 8 to 10% across the group, just aren't enough to fuel the growth we're after. After payroll, rent, raw materials, and all the regulatory costs we've already talked about, there's very little left to reinvest. It means every time we identify a new opportunity, whether it's scaling up production, launching a fresh outlet, or breaking into a new retail chain, we're pulling from a shallow pool of cash until we can sustainably boost these margins. We're effectively running in place rather than accelerating towards our growth goals. And he's got 4, just for context, there's 4 bars in the group. There's 4 bars, 1 nightclub, and there's a 5th bar that's in the planning stage right now.
Devilishly difficult, this sector.
It is indeed. Should we just...
We've got a knock on the door, though.
Yeah, we have got a knock on the door. Then we'll just get him on, shall we? And we'll find out his challenges. Time for this.
Quote or fact. Interesting quote or fact. Interesting quote or fact. It's time for the interesting quote or fact of the week.
Fact or quote for you, Mr. Burt?
I'm going to go quotes. I just can't find them right now.
Well, I've got a Philly fact.
Go on, give me a Philly fact.
So, if you have not checked out our main YouTube channel, by the time this has come out, Chuds and I have released a video called "How Much Does Our Pub Make?" Is that what we're going to call it,
timing,
Chuds?
isn't it?
How much money does my pub make?
Oh,
Sorry,
we give you an audio there.
Sorry.
You don't just post-production chat here. You don't need to mute me.
I know, but otherwise I hear this.
But the viewers, listeners can
It's
just hear
very
me from the-
distracting. As the talent,
Okay, right, cut. The video will be called "How Much Money Does My Pub Make?" in brackets, profit and loss revealed.
oh, that's a good title.
It's a very good video. So if you haven't seen it, it will be out by now, won't it, Chuds?
Yeah, it's coming out on Thursday.
Yeah, so go and check that out. Now, we opened the video talking about how devilishly difficult hospitality and leisure is and the failure rate of pubs in this country and bars and nightclubs closing. Now, when we were young whippersnappers,
Yeah.
we were going out to bars and nightclubs and those sorts of things very regularly, like every week.
Yeah, at least 2 nights a week.
Chuds, when did you last go to a nightclub? You're 28 now, aren't you?
Yeah.
But you didn't even go regularly
No.
anyway, did you?
Last time in a nightclub.
Would have been a staff thing with my lot, probably. With the Marsh Farm team.
Yeah, maybe.
But
I've been to a couple of pubs and bars recently, but not
pubs
a
and
night.
bars are different.
What, a nightclub with a dance floor?
Yeah, yeah.
At least 18 months.
So I used to go Wednesday night boogie nights at Chameleon, Thursday Talk, and then sometimes Duke's Genesis in Chelmsford for a Friday and Saturday night shindig. So 2 or 3 times a week.
Yeah.
That
I
was where
At least 2.
That's where you met a bit of crumpet.
That's right. I used to call it crumpet back in the days.
That's what you had to do.
Yeah.
But pubs are also closing unless they become food restaurants. As of 2024, approximately 6 pubs are closing each week in England and Wales.
Wow.
The British Beer and Pub Association, also known as the BBPA,
Of course they are.
resulted that 289 shut their doors last year, resulting in the loss of 4,000 jobs. Now, contrary to that, because I'm going to put this little screenshot up, I saw this the other day. We spoke about, I'm going to put this screenshot up on, we'll do this in the edit. Now, we spoke about less people drinking. Remember we had that conversation, didn't we? So from 2016 up to March 2020, we saw a steady increase in drinking. Then we saw a huge spike. What happened in March 2020?
COVID.
So everyone was drinking at home. So, I knew people that never drunk a cocktail in their life were buying ready-made cocktails.
Oh, I remember.
There you
Yeah.
And then as we come out of the pandemic, we saw a drop and it's now on the rise again. And I got this off of Noah Stanborn Freeman, says this: next time someone tries to tell you that the alcohol industry is in structural decline, show them this chart. Here's the proof of what's happening. And you'll see here that alcohol sales are on the up again. But are they supermarketing it, buying it in supermarkets rather than socialising with it? That's the big question.
Yes.
I don't drink though. You don't drink, do you?
Nope.
Chuds, you don't drink?
Barely.
Barely. Hannah drinks?
Barely.
Barely. My wife drinks.
She drinks for all 6 of us.
She likes drink, yeah.
But it's a social thing, isn't it? It's a social lubricant.
I mean, lots of entrepreneurial people do not drink.
Yeah.
And we go to this big dinner thing. Everyone's on ginger ale.
Yeah.
Some
I
rockers.
think that's because their life is complex enough.
Yeah.
I don't think.
I mean, there's some rock and roll people that might take a cheeky appetizer.
Oh, yeah.
Cheeky appetizer.
Really
but
really go for it. But I think once you get to a certain, if you're really driven, you wake up the next day with a hangover, you're like, oh, you can't be as effective. You just can't be bothered. You just can't be bothered with it.
I like the feeling of it though. A nice glass of wine. I like what you feel. You just really
Little
mellows
fuzzy
you out.
buzz. Yeah.
Right, should we get? What was yours?
I'm going to go for a quote. Hang on, where's my
quote?
I've got me quote. Oh, hang on, what's happened here? Where's my quote's gone now? Sorry, terrible. Here we go. Oh, here we go. Fact: in July 2016, Rossi became the first known ice cream manufacturer in the UK to produce a black ice cream.
Yeah, we did make a black ice cream.
You did.
Black vanilla.
Black vanilla. There you
we
go.
did.
Oh, that's from Medi over on Instagram.
Thanks, Maddie.
Malden Coffee says, here's one. You always feel better after a Malden coffee. It's not so much a fact, but it is just an advert, and actually very apt because I'm drinking one right now and he's absolutely, thanks Tom, you are absolutely,
Cheers. Coffee.
you are absolutely correct.
I need to open a Rossi in Malden, really, don't I?
You should, shouldn't you? It'd do well in a town like this, wouldn't it?
Well, we have a franchise connection in the park down here, yeah.
Okay. Aura Electric said, if you listen to the news, you're misinformed. If you don't listen to the news, you're misinformed.
There you go.
There you go.
I like that one.
I'm not sure it's a fact or that inspirational of a quote, but I think it's probably very bloody accurate, isn't it? So there you go. That's an interesting fact or quote of the week. Right, shall we get our lovely guest on? Should we get lovely Mark on the pod?
Hey gang, we're going back to the pod in just a moment, but I wanted to tell you about Entrepreneurs University. This is a platform that I've created for entrepreneurs and business owners that are serious about growth. There's 100 video lessons from me on everything in business, raising finance, buying companies, property investment, and everything in between. Attached to each video is a downloadable PDF that goes into more detail about what we've learned in the video. It goes one step further than that because I've also put stuff that you won't get anywhere else onto Entrepreneurs University. The lessons go into way more detail, but not just that, you're going to get my business plans, my spreadsheets, and all the files that I use to drive the KPIs in my business. Just think about how powerful that could be for your business. And here's the good news. You can try Entrepreneurs University for free. 14-day free trial. After that, it will cost you just $49.99 a month. That's less than a pair of Nikes to grow the profitability in your business. There's a link in the video description, and I cannot wait to see you in Entrepreneurs University. Let's get lovely Mark on the pod.
Hey, lovely Mark. How are you, sir?
Yeah, not too bad, guys. How are you?
We are very well, thank you, my friend. Very well. Right, give us the origin story, if you don't mind, my man, of world famous dive bar. What is a dive bar? Just because Jimbo didn't know what you were tormenting, and I butchered it.
No, you're pretty on it. You know, it's sort of alternative in ethos. It's usually late. It encompasses a lot of different subgenres of people, subcultures. You know, so yeah, you're pretty on the money. It's edgy. It's certainly edgy.
Edgy, that's right. I said scuzzy, but I meant edgy. That's better. The sort of place you go at the Great Escape in Brighton before you go to watch like a cool band. You go to a
absolutely.
dive bar.
Yeah.
Does it mean you have a lower capex to open?
No, not necessarily, because that's all down on what your fit's going to be. So one of mine, which is a dive bar, I mean, I did that 2 years ago, and that cost me around about 200k. So yeah, it's not necessarily less on the capex.
Can I ask you a question? How much does it cost you roughly to open a bar?
Depends on how you're doing it. So the one I was talking about there, that's a complete right the way back to first fix and then back up again. So that's about 200k. Just did another one of those this year as well. But you can get locations that you can sort of, should we say, remodel a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
So,
well, before we come on to funding the devilishly difficult part of the world that is hospitality, let's start off with your first challenge. I don't know if that's covered in there, is it, JB?
Yes, it is, but we're going to find out about how you got into. Can you tell us just quickly the origin story of world famous dive bars?
Yeah, of course. Moved to Bristol in 2007. Sold my cafes up in the Midlands. Came down to Bristol with the I was going to be here a year and then go to London, but didn't happen like that. Bought the Mother's Ruin, which I still own, which is a free house. Started trying to put a group together right from the off, and was working. Got it up to 6, but they were tenanted pubs. So a slight difference in our trade to free houses, tied houses. So they were tenanted pubs with a big national operator. Operated those till 2017, where I fell out with the big operator, and we went all the way back down to 1, me and my business partner, and then bumbled along for a little bit, and then COVID hit in 2020. So I was just at 1 unit at that point, and then as we came out of COVID, which gave me a real big kick up the bum, we started growing and expanding. I saw COVID as bad as it was for everybody. I saw it as an opportunity for me to acquire some sites that I never thought I'd get my hands on. Got site 2 in 2021. And we've grown to, we're just opening site 5. So that would be the 5th pub. That will happen in September. And we've got a nightclub alongside it. So 5 pubs and a nightclub. So here we are today. So
it's pubs over bars, really, is it?
Well, but no. So I call them pubs. They're a mixture. So they're all pretty similar in their outlook. We've got, and they're city centre as well. So 3 of them are city centre. One of them's town centre, which is still in Bristol, but just a town centre, just a little bit further out. And they're all late night, basically. So late night music, late drinks. But the 3 in the city centre are definitely bars.
Fine. Are you making money?
Yeah, making money. Yeah, been making money since 2020, so not really had too much issue with with turnover. Don't make as much as I'd want to. And I'm going to make a lot less next year with everything that's been coming in since April. But yeah, still making money.
It's tough, isn't it, at the moment?
It's the toughest I've known. I've been in this game for 20 years, and I've been through the credit crunch. I've been through COVID, and the pressures that are on us at the moment are quite extreme. If I'm honest, quite extreme.
What makes you want to carry on in those like tough times when you're like, this is the hardest it's ever been?
I mean, I like a challenge.
It must
I'm in
do.
the right.
You're in the right space
I'm
for
in the
that.
right business for that. Yeah. I've invested. I never thought this would be my life's work, but it's my life's work. So, like, I've invested a lot of me in this. I lost a house over this. I lost a marriage over this. So, not a good marriage, but I lost one. And yeah,
At least it wasn't a good one, mate. That'd have been a real tragedy if it was a good one.
yeah, and it's I really enjoy it as well, which helps.
Do you still enjoy it 20 years later?
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. I love. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I'm not in the day to day like in the bars, but everything's a lot of fun.
When you moved down from the Midlands in 2007 for the 1 year sabbatical down to Bristol before London, and you sold up the cafes. How many cafes did you have up in the Midlands?
3 in Worcester.
And why did you not go back into cafes in Bristol? Why pubs and clubs?
I had a really good accountant at the time that pointed out that I was caught in a VAT trap. So with cafes, the way that I was running them and operating them, I was buying a lot of raw materials in, which obviously has no VAT attached to it. But everything I sold had VAT attached to it. So at the time, so it's like 2005, I had 3 of them, and they were doing circa £100,000 turnover a year, and I was paying at that time 17.5% VAT, of which I was giving straight to the government, because the way I was running my business is I was giving like 15, 16 grand out of that 100 straight over just in VAT. So alcohol seemed a much better bet.
There's not many times where you can hear the phrase "alcohol" seem like a much better bet and it'd be accurate and apt. But there we go. Right, we will dive into the challenges then, Mark. I'm going to read and potentially summarise what each one of them are, and then Jimbo can, because he's in this section of space, he knows all the pains that you're going through himself. So, biggest challenge, you said, we've been trying to grow the business through vertical integration by acquiring a craft brewery, but every deal falls apart during due diligence. In our most recent attempt, negotiating with a family-owned brewery tied to a large corporate entity, we discovered the financials were being interpreted oddly. The company was overvalued by a factor of 5 and essentially insolvent. On another occasion, we found a brewery that had been underreporting its beer duty liability for the past 12 years. Now I'm considering building our own brewery instead, since the necessary equipment can be sourced from China at a fraction of the cost of buying an existing operation. However, I'd prefer to integrate an established company as per James's advice. What should I do if that's not possible?
I think it is possible. I think there's loads of breweries that come up for sale that, disenfranchised owners don't want to run anymore. I think when you look at businesses to buy, first start with your mindset of what can this do for our business, then look at what they bring to the party. Because if it goes wrong, if you're satisfied on what it can save you, then there shouldn't be anything to worry about. And that's what I always look at. But obviously I look at the profit of the business and do all of that good stuff. But I'm looking, if I was buying another farm park, I think, I could put a day nursery here. That could, I could run my events here. I could put our marketing team on here, and I'll make, do all this good stuff. Then if they're making money as well, that's just double bubble. Then I'm not in trouble.
Yeah.
Bubble, then you're not in trouble. But I thought your whole thing was just got to do £1 million turnover.
Well, yeah, all of that.
As well as.
Yeah, but the first thing I'm looking at is
what does it do
for our existing business? Can we give it money, or can it save us money or give us money? Then you look at the core business, because most people are looking at an opportunity going, I'm going to buy this because it makes 200 grand, 300 grand, 400 grand. Yeah, and obviously I'm looking at all of that as well. But if you can, really have an acid test that this is going to help your existing operation, your business in savings, making money, efficiencies, people, all of that good stuff. You sort of have an insurance policy on the buy.
Gotcha. So in the instance there where there was a company that was being valued at like incorrectly by the factor of 5, you might be able to.
Yeah. I mean, that obviously sounds like a right dodgy thing, and you're probably glad that you got out of it. But how many are you looking at? I mean, I'm looking at loads. You know, if you're only looking at 1 or 2 deals a year, it's probably going to go wrong. But I've got 10 on the go at any one time.
Yeah. So, like with the brewery specifically, we had. We've been down the road with 3 different breweries to due diligence, and I've approached probably just shy of a dozen to try and see if we can purchase them. I mean, it's not apples for apples because breweries do different types of things with different bits of equipment, and sometimes the reinvestment in the equipment, it just isn't feasible. I mean, that one specifically you just talked about, which was by a factor of 5, the actual brewery setup itself would have been perfect for us. There was some knowledge there, was some brand there, but we just couldn't get the deal across the line. That's only really dead in the water for the last couple of weeks. So
talk to me. What you did? So what was you offering to pay for it?
800,000.
Jesus, a big amount of money. And what were they saying they were making?
So their EBITDA when we first started talking, the EBITDA was 93, just over 93,000. When we went through the due diligence, it actually turned out to be minus 24 if you looked at it one way.
So why was it 800 grand? I mean, that's
because of the brew block, because of the equipment that's in there.
Well, yeah, but the equipment's worth nothing once you resell it, isn't it? You know, it's only
absolutely, and it turned out they'd refinanced it 3 times anyway. So it really was a dead deal once we got into the actual nuts and bolts of it, which is a shame because the actual equipment and the assets there would have brought a lot to our party. You know, we could have started supplying our own houses. We could have contract brewed alongside it. We could have developed the brand that they already had there. So yeah,
and what was their revenues?
So they were turning over just shy of $1 million a year, so around about 900,000. As I said, they weren't really showing any profit on.
And how would you have financed the 800,000 on a loss-making business?
Yeah, so we had a deal working with them to basically use vendor finance with a lump up front, and the lump was negotiable. It started off they wanted like 300,000. I was only prepared to give them 50. You know, based on their figures. But yeah, basically we'd have paid it over the next 5 years, interest-free vendor through them.
I mean, my view on that is a really naff deal. Go and find something that's doing 5 million quid that makes 300 grand and pay 800 grand for it.
Yeah. That certainly makes makes a lot more sense if that business is available. I mean, I'm yet to find that. If you found a brewery that was doing that sort of turnover, it would be hard to price it out of the hands of the owners.
Well, it will be if you say stuff like that.
Yeah, that's true. That is quite negative. You know, and that's
you don't know.
Probably me being burnt by the last deal.
So if he can't find the deal, let's say a year's time, Jimmo, he goes more hardcore at it. He's out on the road.
My view on this as well, as someone that I know personally, called James Sinclair, food manufacturing, drink manufacturing, £1 million worth of revenue. I don't see how anyone can make money. The real fun gets it when you're doing 10, 15 million. And I really do believe now the profit is made when you start doing 15 million of revenue, because you need a really good manager, engineers, people looking after the machines because they always break down. Yeah, maybe stick to buying more pubs and hotels and restaurants and do the core business and carry on buying it until you can buy something that's bigger. That's my opinion.
Yeah, that's always something that we're looking at doing anyway. So we're always looking for sites. I'm looking for sites all the time at the moment.
So it's a no to buying in the gear from China and setting up a brewery.
I mean, you don't want to be doing it. I just don't think you want to be doing that. You want to buy something that's already going, that's got 30, 40 years behind it. It's got loads of wholesale customers. It's got really good management in place. That's my opinion. You don't have to do it. But I've learned that from doing. I mean, this is food and drink manufacturing. It is
Yeah,
not
yeah.
food and drink operating, and I've done it, and I find it hard. The only way as well, and you have to have wheels. You're going to need lorries and transport. I've worked all this stuff out through buying Cafe Deli really to distribute my ice cream. Beer is heavy. So really maybe the best thing to do is buy a distribution of alcohol company first, because once you've got the transport, you then have connections with the manufacturers. And that is a much better business to have.
Yeah, that's interesting because, there are wholesalers that come up.
Buying a wholesaler is a smart thing. That's manufacturing food and drink without a 10,000 hours of practice team. Someone that's really mastery at it. Difficult.
Okay, so just a slight scenario on that. So if there was a brewery that needed a lot of capex investment, but was like reasonably cheap and had the 10,000 hours side team there, would you consider still going into that, or you just think it's a better
making money?
route? Well, yeah, I'm sort of looking at one that is making money, but it's a lot smaller than the one before, so it doesn't fit that sort of like scalable growth.
You don't want to be buying profitable jobs. You're running a £6 million business, so you want to be buying things that are doing 2, 3, 4 million of revenue that are going to bolt on and not distract you with loads of time. You don't want to buy a time vampire.
No, I haven't got that. Okay, well that's good advice. I'll maybe pivot and see if I can look at wholesalers. I hadn't really thought about it in that way before, but wholesaler might be the way to go.
You're worth every penny that people pay to be on this podcast, Jimbo Sinclair.
How much did you pay to be on here?
Absolutely
I was talking
zero.
to JB.
Yeah, I pay with my soul every fortnight.
Yeah.
Second biggest challenge then, the chronic skills shortage in the hospitality sector, exacerbated by a rise in business rates, a recent increase in the national minimum wage, and the national insurance lift has placed unbearable pressure on our growth ambitions. Recruitment delays force us to run understaffed shifts at premium overtime rates, while increased payroll costs erode already thin margins. This reads very well. At the same time, the new extended producer responsibility, the EPR regulations, which obligate producers to cover the full environmental and waste management costs of their packaging once it's discarded, will impose yet another layer of unavoidable expenses on every unit that we sell. Unfortunately, fierce competition and price sensitivity in our markets leave us no room to pass these costs on to consumers, squeezing profitability further and forcing us to reconsider how, or even whether, we can continue to expand under such constraints. What's the out of all of those many challenges, Mark? Which one is the?
Can I just stop one thing from my point of view? It's not just you that's going to be facing that; it'd be the whole sector. So when the whole sector is facing it, I won't worry about it. Yes, it's challenging, but you're not going to be the only one.
No, that's true. Yeah.
So you go look at the things that you can control. Be stoic about the approach.
Okay.
Scale helps here. If you've got more scale, then you can have economies of scale. Look at the model. Can you tweak the model for profitability? We're always looking at this. I look at our farm pots. The whole bloody thing is a constant process of innovation. We're building things. 7-year-olds, 6-year-olds find it boring going to farm pots, and we're trying to put in more stuff that the whole family will like now, so that we can widen our age group. It's exhausting. You're in an industry that is the marketplace is always changing. Like, do you need to put on quiz nights? I don't know.
We do that.
But do you need to start doing food? I mean, do you need to doing this new type of cocktail that no one's ever heard of? Every coffee shop now is doing this matcha thing that really no one heard of 24 months ago. It's matcha this, matcha that, matcha all this. Why do we have 25 types of milk now that we never had before? It is exhausting, the amount of innovation that goes into hospitality and leisure.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's me just making
more with that.
a speech because I find it so hard. But that's.
Third biggest challenge, this might be something that Jimbo can definitely assist with. You said it's honestly tough to raise money in hospitality these days, and it's really put the brakes on our plans. Investors see our world as a roller coaster, one bad quarter or a sudden staffing glitch and they get cold feet. So getting them to back you takes ages and comes with sky high expectations, but banks aren't much better. Rates are high, approval hoops are endless, and any loan we secure feels like a straitjacket on our cash flow. Even when we spot a great opportunity like a new location or a tech upgrade, we end up sitting on the sidelines because we can't pull together the funding. It's frustrating to know exactly what we need to do to grow, but feel stuck until the money starts flowing. Financing, Jimbo.
Yeah, well, difficult. Are you producing monthly profit and loss?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. We do monthly profit and loss. I've got a financial controller that does all that for me, in-house. So,
what sort of profits are you making a year on an EBITDA term, and is it fluctuate year to year, or is it pretty consistent?
No, it does fluctuate. So our EBITDA, I couldn't tell you it for the group. I'll be honest with you. I couldn't tell you.
What banks get scared of in hospitality and leisure is if one year your EBITDA is $1 million, then the next year is 200, then the next year is 2 million, then the next year is $500,000, then 750, then $1 million, then 4 million. And that's what can tend to happen with hospitality and leisure. It's huge fluctuations in profits, gives them the heebie-jeebies, and it would give any investor the heebie-jeebies. You know, why do accountants and dentists get so much funding? You know, what did you profit you make this year? $500,000. The year after that, 600. The year after that, 700. It's slow, incremental, predictable cash flow. You know, you could have the World Cup on one year that could give you a right big boost for people that never usually go to pubs, start going to pubs just because the World Cup's on. So for all those reasons, it's really difficult. So what you need to do is like what I've done, really. The clever thing is you bolt on some businesses within your ecosystem that are not hospitality and leisure, so you don't get marked as hospitality and leisure. Now you look at my world, there's food service, there's food manufacturing, there's childcare, there's wholesale, there's transport, and then an element of hospitality and leisure. And because of everything in the round, it doesn't seem like I'm, a nightclub bar business. And that's what I'd be working on.
Okay, so like you would think, would you look at those businesses as still associated to what you do? So like they could still service some of your business.
So we look at that wholesale business or contract catering. You could do contract catering. You could go to, I mean, what a fantastic business. You can go to local factories and say, do you want us to take over your canteen? And they give you a 5-year contract. Banks love that sector. Venture capitalists love that sector. Private equity love that sector. You go and buy a wholesaler of drinks and stuff like that. Wholesale. Most banks and venture capital and private equity love that sector if it's profitable and gets to a scale. So, then you become, we're operators, but really we're mainly, contract caterers. The word contract is the bit that everyone loves.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Because it's steady then.
Yeah,
that's the whole point with it, isn't it? Okay, that's because
you've got talent. Takeaway. You've got talent in your business. Now, what do you do in Monday to Friday? It's much quieter. Go and get yourself some contract catering.
Yeah,
that's the great thing about contract catering. They operate when you're quiet. And when you're busy, contract catering doesn't happen. Factories don't happen weekends and bank holidays.
No, not at all. I mean, it's not a world I know anything about, but I'm pretty sure it's...
Let me tell you now, there's 1,000 people that work in this factory and they all want a hot meal and a drink for 2 hours a day. Running a nightclub or a bar on a busy bank holiday, honestly, running a predictable 3 hours to prep, serve for 2 hours, not affected by the weather, consistency... It's a walk in the park compared to running a nightclub and a bar, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, you certainly have less people passing out on you. Okay, so if you were to go, take that example specifically, would you go and purchase a company that was already doing that, or would you set something up?
No, I think you would tender for contracts first of all. Ring the local council and say, have you got any contracts for contract catering coming up? Secondary schools, big schools, depots. Just ring their procurement teams and say, hey, we're contract caterers. Have you got anything you need tendering for coming up?
Right. Yeah. So, and then staff and staff it accordingly if you win.
Yeah, that's sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Mate, some of the biggest companies in the
interesting.
world are contract caterers. You know, like all the prisons are run by contract caterers. How many people you got in your prison? 1,000 people, right? You need them all fed 3 times a day. Right, this is how much it's going to cost you. You know, where it rains, sunny, snowy. You know, like you've run a hospitality business. If it snows, that's it. Curtains, no income coming
absolutely.
in. You run contract catering, you run a prison, whether it snows, you'll get the exact same money on a snowy day as a rainy day as a sunny day.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Absolutely. I hadn't thought about literally a captive customer base there.
Very captive customer base, from pints to prison. That's what the tagline should be for this episode. Right, Mark, let's jump into some of the questions that you wanted to ask to Jimbo.
This is a true story as well. Someone told me about an open prison had opened a restaurant in there. Do you know what an open prison is like for low offenders?
Yeah.
They have to go back there to sleep and they learn some soft skills and stuff like that. They opened a restaurant for the public to go in at this prison. Guess what they called it?
Go on.
Serving time. That's not a joke. It's actually, go and Google it.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
What a great name. Whoever came up with that branding is a genius. Right, questions that you wanted to ask to Jimbo. I'll read them out for you, Mark. You can add a bit more context if we should need it. So you said, what are the best strategies for raising finance against existing businesses, and how can we effectively position ourselves to acquire companies that aren't actively for sale, especially when their current owners are emotionally or financially tied to them? I know we've touched on that a little bit, but...
Well, make sure you've got multiple deals on the go. I mean, but listen, mate, I could go and buy pubs and hotels and bars and nightclubs easier than anything, because there's loads of people would give me money to take them over because they want to get the liability off their, their personal balance sheet, if you like.
Yeah, I don't have any trouble buying a pub or a bar. I'll be honest with you. You're very true by what you say. People do want to get them off their books a lot of the time. Obviously, the better sites, obviously harder to get hold of, but that's not the trouble. I was really thinking when I asked that question more about the brewing world, where people, you tend to find their founders. I mean, craft brewing in this country is only about 20 years from its boom, from its inception to where it is now. So people they're not in that position, that baby boomer type, wanting to retire position from them yet. So they're still quite emotionally attached to them. So I've had.
I'd go back to our previous conversation. Look for wholesalers.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
Question 2, what's the real value of investing in staff training and retention, and how can we achieve it in today's climate where finding motivated long-term team members often feels like an uphill battle?
Well, I think it's everything, the more you train your team, the more you gain from your team. I would make sure you do mystery shops. I think that's really important, because you can then use that as a basis for your training programs. And then you can say to your teams, look, it's not my opinion. This is the public's opinion of our place. Honestly, secret shopping, getting a good, you could use Interaction because that's what we do, but there are others out there, but I'd rather use us. Getting them to mystery shop your business. I do that to all of our hospitality and leisure businesses. Is it really, and if you do it consistently and regularly enough, that massively has an impact. Yeah,
I mean, I have actually sent an email to your company to.
Did they come back to you?
Get back? It only happened today, so let's not think that that they've done anything wrong. But I've been thinking about mystery shopping for a while. We used to run our own mystery shoppers, but you don't get that sort of professional thing. Report maybe a fresh pair of eyes on it. I mean, I was really more thinking about. I mean, we do try and invest in our staff training, etc., etc. I have really poor retention rates of staff, and we pay ahead of market rate. It's very hard to get people to work in hospitality. You alluded to it at the start. I just, was trying to think of a way. We do incentives, we have bonuses, we have decent wages, we've got flexible working, like a rotating system that's online where people can swap shifts, run through an app. We use a lot of tech with our staff, but we still have poor retention rates. Ever since Brexit, really, we've had really, really bad retention rates.
Well, you're very lucky that you've got multiple venues and multiple opportunities. You've got to make sure that at interview, you say, look, for the right individuals, this is the career path you could have with us.
Mhm.
And keep talking about that. Keep talking about the story.
Yeah,
If you've got success
absolutely.
stories within the organisation, this is Katie. She started as a barmaid and now she's our FD. Or this is Tom. He started as a pot washer and now he's our head of catering. You know, like that. Those stories that and we have many of those good people. But it's look, I'm not sugarcoating it. It's tough.
Yeah.
But also, you go and speak to Deloitte or you go and speak to, tech companies, it's still tough in those sectors as well. Recruitment is tough. You're an entrepreneur. You got to think B times do equals have. What do you got to become? What do you got to do to have the best people to come and work for you? The better you become, the better your people become. You got to work harder on yourself than your business. And that is the real trick to it. As you upskill yourself, you'll find that your teams upskill.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. That's been quite a lot of that going on for the last 2 years. So I didn't really get involved with any of the marketing before. So now I'm fully involved and invested in that.
Get to seminars, get to read books and make sure that you tell your team that you're working on yourself and do some training days with your teams. Take them on, go to other pubs with them. I do all of that stuff with my business. We go to other zoos, attractions. We all go together and we say, look, what do you think they're doing really well? And we're, that stuff really does create retention. Retention is all about education. You want to motivate your team, you've got to educate your team. It really is that. 20 minutes a day, every day, you'll get retention. Most people don't do that.
No, I don't do that.
I reckon most people don't even do 20 minutes a month.
I do a bit more than that,
but what most people's training is, this is Julie. She's been working here for 10 years. Shadow her, and she'll teach you all the bad habits.
Do you think it's worth putting a trainer into the organisation?
Yeah, if you can do that, and that's all they do, that will definitely make a difference. But usually, if you have a tough period, you cut that person.
Yeah. Okay. Understand that. Okay.
Right. Final question then. How do you know when it's the right time to sell a business, especially when you're deeply passionate about growing it and worry that stepping away means missing out on the exciting part of the journey?
Yeah, well, you're in a sector where you could sell it all and then just go again the next day. So I want it. If someone comes and offers you a big lump of money, I'd go, baby, and start again in a different part of the country. And do it with a big lump of money in the bank account. You won't be worried about it. I've got 5 million quid in the bank. I don't care about that anymore. Imagine what you could do. If you had £5 million in the bank right now, imagine what you could build if you didn't have to answer to banks and finances and loans.
Absolutely. I'd take over the world with that.
Take over the world. Well, brilliant. It's been a very interesting conversation. Mark, when people are down in Bristol, in that neck of the woods, where's the best place that they could come for a pint and to see what you guys are up to?
So in the city centre, you could visit the Mother's Ruin, the Crown or the Colosseum, open till 2 a.m., 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. respectively every day, 7 days a week. Or if they're in the outer part of Bristol, they could come and see us at the Greyhound.
There you go. Open till 4 a.m. every day.
Every day, 7 days a week.
Wow. I can't.
Would you take a week there when you're doing that?
So that's just shy of 50k.
And does it fluctuate throughout the year, or is it pretty consistent?
It does fluctuate a bit. Bristol's seasonal, so because there's two big universities here, once they're gone, the summer is a little tougher. So we'll go down to about 22, 23.
This is what people don't understand. That is difficult. You're used to 50k, and then all of a sudden 22.
Yeah. Over half of your money just disappears because it literally geographically moves. It's tough, isn't it? Business is tough. It's these sorts of conversations. I wish that someone would send Rachel Reeves an episode like this. A guy who's employed 103 people. He's trying his bloody best. He can't get the funding for it. He's lost a wife and a house over it, and is still going and is still committed to it.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah, the press vilifies, rich business owners, so we're going to stomp people down. Rachel Reeves needs to listen to this podcast. Where can people go if they want to find out about the group, mate? Is it worldfamousdivebars.com? Is that the best place to go and find out about it?
Absolutely. There's all of our businesses are on that website. So just come and pay a visit.
And if you're a distribution business or a wholesaler and you want to sell to a nice fella, I think get in touch with Mark. He sounds like the right guy.
Sounds good.
Sounds like the right guy for you. Thank you for being on the pod, mate. We wish you well, and hopefully come down to Bristol and enjoy a pint at some point.
Thanks ever so much, guys.
Nice one. Thanks for being on the pod. Cheers, mate. There you go, Mark, all the way from worldfamousdivebars.com.
Let's do the rating, baby.
Let's do it.
It's the 8 Traits of the Greats. This is where we grade our guests on where we think they are on the entrepreneurial scale. And we start with they thinking with the end in mind.
Oh, he's definitely doing that, isn't he? I think he's going to do well here.
I think he is.
I think he's gonna do
thinking with
well.
the end in mind is number one. They're passionate. Yes, he gets
loves
that.
it. Never met someone who loved a pint
Untold
so much.
amounts of resilience. You got to have it if you're in that space.
Too right.
Great relationships, people. Yeah, we're
You
going to have
got
to give him that. Commercial awareness. He's got an in-house FC, financial controller. He called it.
Yeah.
He's using all the right lingo.
Yeah, I think he's got to have it. He
He's
knew
going to have
what
it.
was taking a week.
Oh my God, we're on 5. He's an innovator or an evaporator.
I think he's doing that as
He
well.
wants
isn't
to
he?
innovate. Yeah,
100%.
Bull marketeer. We didn't see that.
Oh.
We didn't see that. So we're giving it.
Oh, Mark, that's
Stacey, teacher.
us, not you. I tell you what.
But I'm glad we didn't give him an 8. And before we give him whatever we call number 7, I think he could be very good. There was elements of greatness. Funny, if he was in a different model business, I think he'd be a very wealthy man.
Yeah.
If you, all the stuff you learn in hospitality and leisure and you take it, say he was a dentist, he was I don't know, a transport company and a model that works. Transport is not a great example, but yeah, I think he could do very well.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
It's a 7. He's nearly in heaven.
He's nearly in entrepreneurial heaven. He's got a 7. Do you want your little jingle? It's not as much fun when Chuds can't hear the jingle because he don't get annoyed about it.
What was 7 though?
7 was something to do with heaven.
Yeah.
Sounds about right. Right, let's do the business quiz. Come on,
Here
Chuds.
we go,
Let's have a
gang.
business quiz.
Big-do.
Thank you.
Business scene,
Oi, Sinclair.
business knowledge, and it's fun. Which one's clever and which one's dumb? Izzy Wizzy.
Let's get quizzy. Bam, bam.
Okay, this big question is how many pubs permanently closed in England?
You said that earlier on, didn't you, in your facts?
How many pubs permanently closed in England and Wales in 2024? Okay, so it's 6 a week. We said that. Let's see if that's 312.
I'm sure you said 380. I think you said 387.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah,
It's
387.
412. I mean, this is where.
What?
This is 412. What did you say?
287.
I don't think we can award ourselves. either on
312.
that.
You were only
We've got 3 different answers. We've got one on Google, one with James Burr. Oh no, 4. One from our researching team, Ipsos Mori at Marsh Farm. London saw the highest number of closures with 55 closing. Sad.
It is, isn't it?
The total number of pubs in England and Wales fell below 39,000 for the first time. That's still nearly 40,000 pubs in these Great British Isles. There is a 6.7% increase in closures compared to 2023.
Wow. That
But,
tells you everything you
but
need to
I
know.
mean, we are above my pub right now. So, you know, and we do see it doing quite well here. You have to work on it. You've got innovation. Oh, we're going to do a beer festival or a sausage and cider festival. We're going to do an entertainment evening. You know,
You not Google.
Comedy
you do
nights.
Comedy nights now, don't you?
yeah.
Should we sell out?
Yeah, I'm always here. You know, I'll do a set.
Have you ever done stand-up?
Well, I mean, you've seen
I mean,
it.
most of your keynote talks are stand-up, to be fair. But
Yeah, I mean, my entertainment with comedy, I think is, I've never told jokes standing up.
could you do it? Would you be comfortable to do that? Just the jokes.
No, I prefer to take the mick out of people with
Yeah.
lines, and antidotes and stories.
Yeah, imagine if you had to do it. If you had
I'm not
to
very
do
good at telling jokes.
No, if you had to do a set and if there was nobody bald in the audience and your first sort of like initial gags, your warm up, your lubricant gag is not there, is it?
No. If I could sing, like you, I'd be,
A singer.
the head of light entertainment in the UK.
I'll tell you what, I thought would be a really good fun video would be, I was going to say to do it around the live show, is see how much money we could just make on the streets. You know,
What?
we talk about how difficult business is, like, but how much money, if we had to, with a day, how much money could we make on the street? And you could only do it from like entertaining.
Yeah.
How much money do you reckon we could make? Do you know what I
300
would,
quid, 400 quid.
if I had to, I'd get one of them little boom boxes. I'd get a little, if you had to like bankroll it as well, I'd go to Primark. I'd get like a 30 quid tux from Primark, get one of them little boom boxes, and I'd do like Rat Pack stuff in Leicester Square. I reckon you would rake it in.
Yeah, why don't you
Leicester
do
Square.
it one day?
Should we do it one day?
No, why don't you? You.
Well, yeah,
you
I'm only
do
doing it if there's a purpose to do it. I'm not just going to go and do it for you for the sake of it.
What one would you sing? What would be your opening Rat Pack number?
Well, you got to warm up the vocal cords.
We could call ourselves the Prat Pack.
I mean, the Prat Pack. That'd be good, wouldn't it? We could do Me and My Shadow as a.
I love that
That's
song.
a great song. I'll take the upper third. You take the
I
main
can't
line.
sing though, mate, at all
you not?
whatsoever. No.
And my crescendo
could.
piece would be My Way. That's the one. If I needed extra cash, I'd be like, let's just smash out My Way back to back. I'd be
Do you know
like
all the
Heart
words
Radio.
off by heart for them?
I did at one point. I had to learn 150 songs to go and be a cabaret singer. So I just literally learnt songs every day. I had to learn 6 songs a day.
Wow.
Yeah, I reckon I could remember it enough that, you know, tourists in Leicester
Can you
Square
sing Me
wouldn't
in
be
My
like,
Shadow now?
No, I can't.
Why?
Because I can't remember the words and I can't even remember how it goes.
No.
We should do it. We'll do it at the theatre show. We should do that one day. How much money can James Sinclair? Have you ever done like money making challenges on the YouTube channel?
Let us just have a.
Oh, here he goes. I'm not doing it.
I mean, people want to hear it.
They
from
don't
me.
want to hear it. Don't want to hear it.
And
Tell them.
my. So, did you
Well-
do the Robbie Williams version?
Yeah, of course I did.
Yeah, that's a good version. The
It was
better
a great version. Yeah, him and Johnny. I'd probably do Mr. Bojangles.
Well, yeah, we
Can't
can't
do
do
that.
that. No, we get told off, wouldn't we?
Like the wallpaper sticks to the wall. Da-da-da. That's how I'd start.
See, you only needed that little bit to get
Yeah,
into
I
it,
know.
didn't you?
I'm in. I'm
That
in.
was a few seconds,
I'm
wasn't
in.
it? I knew
Yeah.
it would work.
I know.
Like the wallpaper sticks to the wall.
Ba-da-ba. We should definitely do Me and My Shadow at
That's
the
a great
theatre show live, shouldn't we?
That's a good line, That's a good line.
That is a good line, actually.
Have you
isn't it?
watched, you know, my little girlfriend, Tay Tay?
Oh,
Taylor
yeah,
Swift. You know
yeah.
when I used to be with her
Yeah.
years ago? No, I watched some YouTube videos of her where she comes up with the lyrics because that's what people say about her. It's her copy skills more than
Yeah.
her musical skills. I mean, obviously
She writes like smash hits in half an hour, doesn't she?
Yeah, yeah,
So
she-
like Ed Sheeran could write an absolute banger in half an hour.
Do you like Ed Sheeran?
I think he's very talented. He's not
I think
my
he's
cup
really
of
not.
tea.
No, I don't know. There's one of his songs that I absolutely love. I just think they all sound the bloody same.
I do a little bit, but then he's so popular. Like, have you heard about this DJ AG? He's like the DJ guy who plays at like King's Cross, and he'll just play like DJ sets. And now he's one of the biggest artists. If like new artists have got a track they want to break, they go onto his TikTok channel and he does like a live set. So Sheeran turned up the other day in Sheffield, who's doing a live show, and he can like MC and rap over any track.
Yeah, I
He's
actually have seen some
really
of that.
talented.
Mm,
He's very talented.
mm.
He's like the
Isn't that Paul Simon though? That's what I want to listen
oh
to.
Jesus Christ. He's like a musical James
Simon.
Sinclair. He'll turn his hand to any old thing and turn a quid out of it.
I think Paul Simon Graceland is the best album of all time.
Paul Simon Graceland. I don't know if I've ever even listened to
You
it.
Can Call Me Al.
Oh, that's a great song.
It's a
Every
great-
time
album
that
is-
comes on, you just
everyone's
feel good,
happy.
don't you?
Yeah, happy.
just
And then
feel-
there's Diamonds on the Shows of Diamonds on the Soles of Her Feet. That's another song on that album. It's great. That is a fantastic.
What's your
album.
favourite song of all time?
Oh, that is
Mine is My Way by Sinatra. That is just the song. Like when I die, carry my box out to that track. It's
That's
overused
so
at funerals, though, isn't it?
difficult. That is. I mean, if Frankie would be up there. My favourite dancey song is Fat Bad Band. I fell in love in. When I hear that, I'm
Found
in.
love, da, 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 that one.
No, I found. Oh, there was a. This podcast has got to finish now because this is not what it's about.
Our next guest has been sat there for like 20 minutes going, can we just hurry up, guys?
Desert Island Discs here.
If you'd like to hear James Burt and James Sinclair live vocals, then please feel paper sticks to the wall. Right, we'll see you at the theatre show for more live vocals, or if you want to get some genuine, oh yeah, we could definitely do the Morkel and Wise jump off to that. Or if you want to get some real business insights, they can come to Business Masterclass.
Business Masterclass, 2 days in London, gang. If you'd like to come along to see us, or see me, sorry, to all the
I'll be there
stuff.
singing swing music.
Yeah. That was the last 20 years of business. I'm teaching everything that I've learned, how to get customers, how to buy companies, how to raise finance, make your teams more profitable, and everything in between. Tickets are a few £100, and you can buy them on my website, jamessinclair.net, and I'll see you in the big smoke. But don't forget, mate, you always talk about, what do? You are the podcast king. If you want to make a podcast for your business, go and check out James Burt. Where do they go?
They can go to phonic.media, phonic.media, phonic.media.
What is it that you're doing for clients?
We do everything for podcasts. We do videos. We do the editing, the production. We're doing a lot of on-site recordings. If you want to get an example of our work, you could just check out the latest Ted Baker series. Oh yeah, we're well fancy. We've done Ted Baker's podcast. Or you could check out the latest podcast from Jermaine Genius and Derek Chisora, heavyweight boxer. Let me tell you something. We've also produced that show. So there you go.
Listen, if you want
Unless we've been cancelled for that show already, in which case, forget I was involved in that. We'll go to the side.
But podcasting really works your business. Content media really works. And what you can do, like us, we make this podcast and then you take all the little snippets to build social media stuff. So most of my Instagram really is pulled off my podcast, isn't it, Chuds? Yeah, he's saying yes. There he is over the background there. More than our main YouTube channel. That's one of the best things. If you've got a expertise in a sector, making the podcast, then chopping it up, really leverages the work that you do. And JB can absolutely help you with that. So go and give him a message on James Burt Official on Instagram. He's also on LinkedIn, can't you?
Yeah.
You're on all the social platforms.
I'm on all the social platforms.
Give him a little message and he'll sort that out for you because it really does work. And if you are watching this podcast on YouTube
or Spotify,
please like and subscribe, give us a review, and also on the Apple stuff if you're listening as well. So your continued success. Bye.